As most of you know, rocket science is kinda hard, as witnessed by our Valentin over here. Hey Val, what you doing here? Well, let's take it how it happened. We're going out of the atmosphere. So previous episode we managed to launch our first rocket. This time we should be going out of the atmosphere, meaning we should launch a rocket on the suborbital trajectory higher than 70 kilometers. But first we have some nodes to unlock. We have 61 science and we should be unlocking the light launchers because this gives us some bigger fuel tanks, radial attachment points for side boosters and whatnot. Then we're looking at the solid rocket boosters, but I'm actually looking at the environmental science. This will be yielding more science, which makes it immediately a priority. Those are the science components that will be gathering more science and allowing us to unlock more. Then if we look aerodynamics and stability, this will give us a little bit more SAS control so that we have better control over our rockets. The next thing that I'm thinking of researching would be the solid fuel boosters, because they will propel us closer to the orbital rocketry, but it doesn't make sense unless we unlock survivability, which will grant us heat shields so we can survive the re-entry, and parachutes to make a soft landing. Remember, we are building a bigger rocket that should go higher up above the Kármán line, which is 70 kilometers, but we don't need to go into the orbit yet. And this time, since I've unlocked the Science Collector Junior, that means we will be collecting more and more science. So I'm unlocking this and putting a heat shield so that we can survive the re-entry. Once we come back, that means that we will be able to transmit all the wonderful science. And we have unlocked the new node, which is the drogue chute. Now, the drogue chute functions the same way as a regular parachute, but it's used for much higher speeds. So this is the parachute when you're going really, really fast, which you want to deploy first before you deploy your main chute. Because if you deploy your main chute while going too fast, you would rip up your chute and fall down to your death. So we're once again taking the heat shield and everything we had, putting a stack decoupler so we can get rid of the spent stages, empty fuel tanks after we have consumed the fuel. Then we're gonna putting, this is one fuel tank. I'm actually thinking almost to keep the rocket really simple. I may be thinking putting 2 fuel tanks, like, yeah, perhaps. So let's put 2 fuel tanks and let's see how much delta V, which is basically the change in velocity, we will get. We're gonna be putting swivel. So let's see. I want to expand this view. By clicking, you get this nice thrust to weight readout, 1.6 thousand meters per second. And let's put some stabilization fins, because we want our rocket to be stable on ascent, obviously. But the stabilization fins only work in the atmosphere when we have air to push against. And maybe we want to do utility and put the SAS, which will allow us once we go into space, so that we can still turn the damn thing. I mean, the capsule does have some amount of SAS authority, but then again. Once again, we find Valentina peaked on the launch pad, getting ready for that boost. And here we go, and blast off. Yeah, I've noticed that my science was flashing, which means I wanted to push it just to gather that little bit extra of the science, because the Science Junior was never... And see, when I triggered the Science Junior, it exposed the experiments and collected the sweet science. All of that science will be necessary for us to gather, but this time, instead of going to the east, I'm going to the west. Because why? Instead of splashing down in the Gulf of Kármán, I will be landing on the, on the grass, because if land on the grass or somewhere in the, grassy biome, we would be able to collect some extra observations, like crew observations, maybe stick a flag, and all that jazz. So that's why we are going to the west instead of to the east. Normally, if you want to go orbital, you want to go to the east. Alright, so our apoapsis has lovingly gone to 74 kilometers, which is just perfect, and we have decided to stage... Oh, look at that beautiful stage separation. It's almost poetic, isn't it? Come to think of it, I might actually take this perspective. Look how cool it looks. Bye-bye, rocket stage. You have served us well. Now you will find out what it means to be a pancake when you land below. Yeah, okay. Unceremoniously, it will just burn up and probably crash to the ground, leaving a horrible wreck to discuss. Alright, so as you saw, we unlocked a lot of nodes, and honestly my feeling here when looking at the For Science update is that it's at the beginning is a little bit maybe even too forgiving, but I'm a KSP1 veteran and I know what to do, so it might be actually good for the, you know, players. Oh, science reward available. You see, it's blinking, which means if we click it, we're gonna be collecting extra science. Look how the experiments exposed everywhere and we are getting extra science. Currently, we have 280 units of data, which is actually quite nice. Okay. Fly safe, flying on crashing trajectory. We went for an EVA, we took Valentina outside to take some crew observation, and then we're gonna board her back because we really don't want to be leaving the capsule that's going on a suborbital trajectory. I mean, we have to remember, Valentina doesn't have a parachute, and even if she did, maybe if she fall on the head, that wouldn't be a best resolution of this mission, right? We have to return her safely. Now, with that thing being said, we're gonna go down ever so gently. I'm thinking of even accelerating this a little bit because look how beautiful it looks. And I can tell you guys, playing KSP2 on an ultra wide is amazing. You get this beautiful circular curvature. Ha, take that, flat carboners. And then we're gonna be landing down. Flat carboners? What have I been drinking? Yeah, well, never mind. We are accelerating the time as we descend through the atmosphere. We did put a little bit stop, and now we're reaching 20 kilometers in altitude. Our surface velocity is 910, and I'm looking, is it safe to deploy my drag chute? Apparently, it says that it is, because the drogue chute is designed for these velocities, and look how effectively it's slowing us down. Our surface velocity has dropped below 200, which means soon enough it will be safe. Yeah, we've reached the, you know, terminal velocity with the chute, which means it will be perfectly safe to deploy the main chutes. I don't want to deploy it just yet, because that would slow us down even further. I'm gonna deploy it a little bit further down, so we don't spend too much time going down. Okay, let's see. Shall we deploy it now? Yes, we shall. And look at this. The drogue chute is still firing, and the main chute is open, and it will hopefully, look, decelerated us to 50 meters per second. It's still a lot. I mean, 50 meters per second. It's quite fast. So, and look at this. We are descending. It is a beautiful grassy biome. Landing softly and gently, hopefully on the mountain slope, where we will be collecting all the precious science that we're gonna be bringing back to the Kerbal Space Center. Yes. See? Amazing. Loving it. By the way, guys, I'm really enjoying KSP2 so far. I did play a little bit ahead just to make sure that I can play and enjoy while recording. But you guys will be seeing this as it unfolds. And now gently landing. Oh, correction. A little less gently landing. And I think I've just destroyed my experiments. Okay. It says go outside. Okay, maybe we should go outside on the EVA and take a walk on the Kerbal and maybe get some extra surface samples. Because yes, we really need the surface samples of the Kerbal grassy plateau. So we could, you know, crew observation. Okay, we're in the crew observation. It looks very grassy. Okay, let's come in. So, Val, are you depressed? Our experiments got blown up. What do you have to say in your defense? Nothing? Sometimes silence is the best defense. Okay, we're gonna take a surface sample. Look at this beautiful animation. This is just amazing. I'm loving it. Look, she shakes it, closes down, and puts it back. This was really missing from the KSP1. I can tell you that much. So how about that we plant a flag as well? Proudly planting the non-flag of GrunfWorks. Yeah, I'm not gonna let it go. Honestly, guys. Seriously. I might install the mod for getting the flags in, because really. Okay, first, real flight, because we really got out of the atmosphere. Kudos to us, we were in space, yeah, and Valentina is really excited. Okay, stick it, and there we go. Oh, look, and the moon in the background, slightly crested above the crowds. Oh, that's just amazing. All right. taking a screeny selfie, and let's board the capsule and recover the vessel to see how much of the sweet science did we get and lose. Science reward 50, but we've got an additional 132 science. Well, that's not too shabby. And mission completed. We have successfully launched a rocket, but why does it say orbit here? Well, maybe they got it a little bit botched up. Okay, science collected 50. Beautiful. Then we have the orbit Kerbal and buoyancy test, but that's coming in the next episode.